Hey guys, Lady V. Welcome to Lesson 4, Smudging. So I'm going to try to explain to you the best that I can about how to smudge. It's kind of one of those things where this tool has a lot of settings that you can play with, and even I can never remember any of the settings, so I can never recreate the same smudging from one of my past tags because I never saved what I had the smudge brushes set to. So if you want to remember, or if you come across a nice setting that you like, please write it down, save it on the computer on a notepad, something. Or else you're never going to remember it. You're never going to be able to do it again. But anyways, I usually just eye up the settings while I'm setting the brush, so everything looks good. Alright, so we're going to start by opening up a new document. 400 width by 200 height. I always do transparent background, but you guys can do a white background or a colored background. It's just force of habit for me doing the transparent background because sometimes I will need the background to be transparent, and it's just easier for me to start off, so I always do transparent. But for this one, I want a black background, so I'm going to fill it. I know that seems kind of dumb, but it's just force of habit. But anyways, okay, so black background, open up 400 by 200. Next, we're going to throw a render in there. Oops. And try to find something colorful for this one. Do not resize it unless it's extremely huge, and then you might want to resize it. Position it there, press Control J, and as you can see it made another layer. It's the exact same layer. There's that one, there's that one. We're going to make 5 of these. Okay, so we have 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, Control J to make them. We're going to add them all, except for this first one here. We're going to pull out your smudge brush. My brushes for my smudging is right here. And if this little guy isn't out, of course, you know, if it's one of these other tools, just click and hold until it pops up, smudge tool. Come up here to, if these brushes are not here, come up here to Windows, and then just click on brushes, and it should pop up somewhere over here. Okay, so let me reset my brushes right quick. Okay, so we're going to smudge this background. I want to use, let's see, 39, yeah. I want to use a 39 pixel hard rounded brush right here. And I want, just go through, move it up and down, see what it does. Scattering. It doesn't really matter how you smudge. It's always good to go with the flow of the focal. So let's say this is going to be my focal. Let's resize it so we can get an idea of what the flow is going to be. Again, remember to hold shift when you resize, and to get that to pop up, it is Control T. Okay, so the flow of our render kind of goes up and or down and out, like in this general direction. Probably the best to go along these lines. So you want to smudge in the direction of the way that it's going to be. So you can go in circles. You can just do this. Some people do that, just hold and rub. Other people, like for example me, I like to click, small movement, click, small movement, click, small movement, just over and over in the general direction of where my flow will be going. Then you're going to pick another setting, another brush. Go with this chalk brush. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing, small movements in the way of the flow. Next one, different brush. Different settings. Let's make that a smaller brush. I don't really like that. So I'm going to change the scatter of this and the size. Try that again. There we go. Another brush. Get some moves. Okay, so after just smudging a few layers a few different ways, we end up with this. So we can set these layers on a different blend mode right here. For example, that one we can set to, let's see, let's shuffle through these. Okay, we can leave that one normal. Let's go to the next one, see what we can set this one on. And if you notice, sometimes you can get, you know, some good lighting going. See how it's lighted around her. Just depends. You can also use the smudge things for lighting. Today I'm going to set that to overlay this one. Let's see. I like that. And last but not least, I'm going to lower the opacity of that one. Something like that. And that's a pretty solid base right there for making a tag. And then there's always settings that aren't so spaced out that kind of give it a liquidy effect. And what I did there was I added a new layer and I went to image and apply image and hit OK. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to pull out my smudge brush again, but this time I want to get the very first brush we started with. Let's set that up a little bit, 29, something like that. And then we're going to go in and we're going to just put everything down to 0. Scattering, we're not even going to have. Noise. Okay. So some people like to just come in here and just smudge. Some people break out with smaller size brushes. And do some more smudging. And then I showed you smudging for lighting. And then there's just do another applied layer. And then there is getting other people's smudge brushes. Like, go up here, make sure you're on your smudge brush. Go up here, click on this arrow, and you should install a smudge brush pack or whatever beforehand. And then you just grab a brush. I'm not sure that it's set on, but I think it's just, you can play with the shapes here. I actually like that. So just smudge away. And you can play with these settings over here. Different textures. And that's basically it for smudging. I mean, I tried to be detailed. I'm a little tired, you'll have to excuse me. But smudging, it's not something that I can teach you guys. It's more along the lines of something that you have to learn and play with to actually get a feel for it. And you can make really good smudge tags. And before I end this, I'll show you a couple that I've made in the past. I used to like to do smudging a lot, so I have a bunch probably that I did. Oh goodness, excuse me. I've been so tired lately. Give me a minute to go through this. There's one. And there's another. There's another one I'm looking for if I did. I think it's down at the bottom. Not that one. There it is. Okay. You can smudge backgrounds like this. This background actually turned out really good, and I've never been able to recreate that since. It just turned out really good. Like for this one, I started out with a black background. I put a gradient in there that went from blue to transparent, and then I smudged my render. My render is that. I smudged her, added her desaturated there. I smudged her some more, I smudged her some more, and then added her in there, lightly erasing around the edges to kind of blend her into the smudging. And then from there I just added pretty much layer adjustments. Gradient maps, levels, curves, photo filter, gradient maps, another photo filter, applied image, photo filter to the image itself, and then just text and border. So basically that tag is pretty much made up of smudging, and that's what makes it the way it is, just smudging and blending. And it's a good tag. But I made this years ago. So same with this. This is a good bit of smudging with some C4Ds in there. Give me a minute and I'll show you. Some splatter too. This was a stock. So I started off with that. I blurred the background. I displaced the background. And then I started adding some splatter to the background. You can see that it was a black splatter, but I did a clipping mask too. And then I went up and I started doing the lighting effects, brushing at the top to even it out, some lighting down at the bottom, a gradient map photo filter, curves, displaced again, applied and smudged. What I did was I applied the image with a new layer, image apply, or apply image I mean, and then I just smudged around the hard edges there that were too displaced. Another gradient map, I burned and dodged the render, or focal, photo filter, sharpen, dodge. I applied the image and flipped it around to give it better flow. Flow feels like, things should be going up instead of down. This, it says to repeat the last step, and I just obviously kept some of the dark spots in there. Some more splatter brushing, clipping mask, photo filter, gradient map, more lighting, the name, clipping mask to the name, levels, curves. I brushed around the whole tag, more lighting. Then I threw in some C4Ds to kind of give the effect of coming off of his arms and around him. Sharpen, burn, dodge, all that applied with nothing done to it. Just my name and final burning. But smudging, that is another way of showing you how you can smudge. This one I definitely smudged. Pretty much the whole background in it. Started off with a gradient. I smudged the stock, which is, I don't know if I have an original one in here or not. What I have is that part in there. I don't. But anyways, I smudged on that one. I smudged on that one. And I smudged on that one. This is not supposed to be there. Okay, so that's what I got for the background. So then I just put the stock over it. Part that I didn't want to be smudged. And then I started putting shapes in there. Clipping mask, shape, clipping mask, shape, clipping mask. And then I added a couple C4Ds. Gradient map, curves, levels, photo filters. Gradient map, another photo filter. Selective coloring and a gradient map. Pen tooling around her. Pen tooling adjustments. The name, clipping mask, and the C, my name in the border. And that's a little bit of, we'll be learning about clipping masks and everything here in a little while. But that's a really good smudge tag. A lot of people really liked me throwing in the C4Ds with the smudging. Back when I made this tag, people didn't really do that. They were just coming out of doing grunge work, so people really like this tag. Anyways, there's a couple examples of how you can use smudging in a tag. I showed you firsthand how to set things up and everything. I think that's it. If you need any help, feel free to get a hold of me. Smudging, like I said again, is really just a technique that you got to develop on your own from messing around with the settings and how to smudge and see what looks good. I would suggest getting some images and just practicing, or doing what I just did earlier, pulling out a new document, filling the background with black or white, and putting in a render unsized and then a render resized, and just duplicate the unsized renders layers and just keep smudging different ways, play around with the blend modes, see what you can come up with. And I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching.